really, it's nothing short of a mini miracle, to be quite honest with you, in the way that this class came together. Two really tough seasons, wondering how it was going to really work with guys seeing the vision and understanding where we were, as a program. Two tough seasons in terms of record. And, once you get guys up on campus, once you start to create that vision for them and let them see our players, let them see Northern Michigan, let them see how we operate the program. There's just so much good, and a lot of guys, I think, really saw that, believed in that, and for them to be willing to still come and want to be a part of this thing, and to see them being a part of the turn of this and to try to help build this legacy, what a testament to those guys and just the commitment that they've made. And so really proud of the class just for being, high character guys that really can see themselves in the program and doing something great with it. And, I think just really feel fortunate, really feel that this is going to be a second full class for us that we can really take into the future with us. We were really balanced this year with kind of regionally. And, I think what we do is we try to, circle the area about seven hours out and, going over all through Wisconsin, of course, the whole entire UP, and then down through Chicago, Northern Illinois, Northern Indiana, and then up through all of lower Michigan as well. And so feel like we were really balanced with the lower Michigan kids and the Wisconsin kids this year. Did get a handful of UP guys, which, I think we've got some good body types that we were able to find. And, our whole thing is to be able to develop these guys. And so to be able to bring guys from the different areas that we're trying to hit on, the tough thing too, we were down two coaches, two full-time coaches after the season. And to be able to just kind of, all work all hands on deck with this thing. We just had a lot of production by our coaching staff to try to cover as much ground as possible. And so really like what we've done from just kind of the regional aspect. We will have a couple guys that will be outside of the region that we're looking at. And, I think that's always fair to be able to, give guys an opportunity, especially if we have connections in certain pockets, even if there's states that could be, a little further away. I think some guys, they just want to go and get an education, play college football, and, if they're going to be the right fit for us, it certainly is worth us looking at that. So, certainly there'll be a couple guys that will fall into that category, and yet we're going to live right here close to home and make sure that we get the best guys out of the UP, and then obviously the Wisconsin, Michigan, and Northern Illinois areas. Three mid-year guys that we brought in. I don't think we're going to be overly heavy with transfers every semester, and that's not necessarily by choice. I think it's a little bit by the nature of the beast. We are looking actively for guys to come in and help, and we recruit those guys the same way as we do freshmen. They've got to be great people, great students, and guys that can fit into what our program philosophy is. And we brought in three guys this year at mid-year, and that I think will really help us. They're into the program right now, and can't say enough about Jalen Houston and Miguel Ocampo and Joey Liebrandt in terms of, just committing to come here and, want to just be a part of this thing and see themselves, doing something great for us. I think the development here piece is really something that, we take pride in. It's something where we look at body types, we look at skill sets, we look at tools that they can bring to the table, and the more that we can coach them and, really demand a lot out of them and hold them to a high level of excellence is what we want to do. And I think, when our freshmen become sophomores and sophomores become juniors and juniors become seniors, that's when you got something, and we're aiming to build a culture that's going to help keep them around, help keep them interested and a part of something that they can feel good about. And so, just trying to make sure that guys continually are developing here, especially this off season, and then obviously as they go throughout their career, that's what we're looking at, these classes to be able to do. So the recruiting process starts, really way back in the springtime, and you start to make contact with high school coaches. You start to get out in spring recruiting, and you typically have a junior day on campus in the springtime. and you just try to get those juniors to be seniors kind of, on the board, and try to see, where you're at with going into the summer months and the fall of their senior year. And so, as you kind of start to formulate some names coming out of spring, then you go into camp mode. June and July are typically pretty heavy with camps, and there's combines now that each state is kind of doing that helps you out to be able to go and see these guys in person. And so you're able to get in-person evaluations and see these guys move around. And of course now, the contact periods are pretty loose, where you can have good contact with guys, almost at any point in the season. And so it helps you get a jump start on getting to know these guys. And once you get through the summer, you got a decent idea, if you've seen them at different camps or even your own camps, just kind of what they can do physically, and you get some specs on them and some times, and you understand just kind of where they're at a little bit. And then what happens is you track the guys that show up for you, and you try to get them up to maybe a game day visit as much as possible. If we're able to go out and catch some games, that'd be great to see them in person as well. And then what happens is our season ends, and we try to really focus on, just tracking them. If there's any postseason games that we can get to, going to state championship games, and then really getting back out into the schools, following up with the guys that we've been on. And then there's some guys that typically will pop too, in terms of seniors that have really good years, and those coaches circle back around and make sure that they let us know that. And then December becomes a really big month for us to get some official visits on campus. So we try to get guys on campus for a couple weekends, and then you go into the Christmas months, just trying to communicate as much as possible. And you get through the holidays, and then you have a few more official visits in January. January becomes a really big time, to where it's starting to come down to the wire a little bit. And then you look forward to the first week in February, the first Wednesday. And so kind of brings us to where we are now, where you try to do as much as you can on the front end. And what I would say is our process is very front end heavy with communication, relationship building, and trying to comb through what these guys' backgrounds are, what's the most trouble they've ever been in, like what are they NFL fans, what do they like to do in their free time, and just really diving into a lot of different things, to where we feel like we have a great sense of who they are. They get to hear from us what's important about our program, and it does make for a much smoother process on the back end. And I think we're different also in that if we bring you on campus for an official visit, it's a pretty serious thing. And we're not just trying to go out there and mass recruit just everybody that we see on film. And we try to be very particular, very intentional about those guys. And I think what's worked out well is our players have done a fantastic job in the program of helping to take a part in recruiting as well. They host them, get to know them, have meals with them, have them, hang out in the dorms with them, and just get to socialize and see them in a different light. And they give us great feedback on the recruits as well. And I think our recruits, they see the culture of who we are as a team really well. And I think it's running itself right now in terms of our players and our relationships and our trust factor and just everything that we're standing for right now. So I think a big part of kind of why some of these guys probably made the choice to come is in large part because of our players and what we've built here in our culture system. And so it's kind of, this is a great time of year because you get to take a little bit of a sigh of relief here, and you put in a lot of hard work, and you've chased around 17 and 18-year-olds, and it's just good to see the fruits of it. And of course, we're going to enjoy getting them on campus here even more and working with them. And I think all of them have really bright futures ahead of them. This year, we installed a new offense, and this was our first class that we were able to really recruit to that offense and some of those positions where, a year ago we brought in 40 plus guys, and not sure that was necessarily what we were recruiting to. And so, did have some drop off, did have some guys that, maybe couldn't see themselves in the system. And we did have to address the wide receiver position on offense. And what we did with the wide receivers here in this class, we brought in some height, we brought in some bigger guys, and we really increased, I think, the athleticism in that room. And really feel good about that group that we're going to have coming up here. Still going to be young, still going to be a lot of opportunity in there, but really felt like we're recruiting towards what we're doing now offensively, and those guys are able to see it, believe it, buy into it, and see what their role is going to be in the future. I think, very similarly, offensive line, you can never have enough big bodies. And we were able to get a good handful of offensive linemen that are coming in that I think are going to be, just aggressive and athletic and, really play a good role for us in the future. And, you got to develop those guys, of course, because typically they're not ready at 18 years old to come in and bang away in the GLIAC right away. But they've got great potential. There's going to be some guys there that really show up well for us. And of course, when you got a chance to get offensive linemen, you got to take advantage of that. I think the tight end position is another position that I think we upgraded. We got a couple of really good guys there that will be physical and aggressive and athletic and can catch the ball, can kind of do a little bit of everything there. And so we can be a little bit more flexible with that position. Defensive line, I think, is another position that we address kind of different spots there and just created a more quality depth situation for ourselves. And so, it really goes along with O-line. You can never have enough big, good bodies, and we got a chance to get some really athletic and powerful, good stout kids in there that will, I think, really help us out in the future. This is the second full class that we've had to be able to really bring in, and we're going to be in the upwards of 30 plus guys here. And I think it's just something where you look at it, the first class, a lot of those guys redshirted. We were able to play a good handful of those guys and get them some experience and reps. And now, some of those guys will step on the field for the first time coming up this fall. And then, now looking at this class, the class of 25, and what a great opportunity to just get a more full team of our recruits, into the mix, and really feel good about, another 30 plus coming in to be able to add to the guys that are already here. I think what it does is it just starts to stack and starts to become, something that breeds itself. And so, we've got to go through a couple of these cycles to get good full classes in here so that the program can continue to just work its way up to be healthy again. And, when we got here, there's a great challenge personnel-wise. And so we wanted to address that in recruiting. And I think now through a second full class here, we've been able to do that, and I feel really good about these guys. And I can't say enough too about the guys that are have been here, have gone through the 2 years, and now you're going to get a mixture of some older guys with some experience, some maturity, who've gone through the sufferings, and you're going to add to the mix with some good youth that have already had some playing time, some guys that are hungry to kind of not become red shirts anymore, and then you're going to bring in this class of 25 that's just going to be completely dialed in to trying to help shape and turn the corner here. And so, recruiting is the lifeblood, and really feel great about what we've been able to do here this, for the class of 25, and really excited about their future.